And welcome to another video. So I'm going to give you the blueprints with one of my clients where they've gone from A to B within a matter of 19 months. So this is Selena. She's been with me for 19 months with my online coaching. Now she came to me and she reached out to me because she tried every diet possible. And I mean, she tried everything. Nothing was working. And what she really needed was 24/7 accountability behind her to help her go from A to B. Now, the first thing that I did is I stuck her on a 20-minute free call, okay? And I just showed her and explained to her about the 4 different ways that your body burns those calories through the day and how I was going to optimize her metabolism to speed it up 3 times as fast. Basically, what I did is I explained to her the BMR chart. Okay, so you've got your BMR, where your body just burns calories just at rest, and how I was going to speed that up, okay? The next thing I showed her was your NEAT, which was basically your movement, your steps, your fidgeting, you're tidying up around the house, just things like that. And then I explained to her about the thermic effect of food, how certain foods will when you're digesting those certain foods, your body burns more calories just digesting it. And then obviously the little bit at the top I explained, which was just the exercise bit. The next thing that I did is I then started to set up her app for her. So the first thing I did was I set up her macros, I set up her protein, I set up her carbohydrates, and I set up her fats. Now I also told her I don't want you to be scared of any sort of foods, because all food is just a unit of energy. That's all it is for our bodies. It's like putting in your petrol into your car. You're going to put petrol into your car so you can go from A and then go to B. Now, I worked out her calories and we started her off a really high amount, which was about 2,300 calories. Now, she was logging everything with MyFitnessPal, because with MyFitnessPal, it then connects to my MyFitness app. Then I can see what she was having through the day. And then all it was from there, I just said to her, right, just start scanning everything in. So that is what she was doing. She was just scanning everything in. And then because I was connected to her FitnessPal, I then went into her diary every single day. I was giving her daily accountability for this. And then all I was doing is saying, right, there's a simple swaps here. So if there was let's say there was a break which was higher in calories, I could then do the shopping for her, find it online, show her 3 different options that she could get, which was lower in calories, which would save her more calories throughout the day. So basically all Selena had was a protein goal that she had to hit every single day for me, okay? Because protein has the higher thermic effect of the food, right? So I made sure she was hitting her protein targets for me. And then, because she had a calorie goal, I then made sure she hit her protein target, and then she was hitting her fats and her carbs to let everything fall into place until she hit that 2,300 calories. Now, Selena used to be scared of the carbohydrates because she was like, every time I have carbs, my scale weight keeps going up and stuff. And I'm like, as soon as I started to explain to her, look, carbs hold 3 or 4 grams of water per carbohydrate that you have. So as soon as I started educating her about the water intake, about the sodium intake, about the salt intake, in fact, there was loads of things I was educating her on. As soon as I started educating her, she was slowly, very slowly starting to learn that no food is completely bad for you. Literally, you can have whatever you want to have as long as it fits your calorie goal. Next thing we then started working on was her step count. Now, her steps, when we very first started, she was roughly about 2,000 steps a day. That was it, okay? She was struggling to move and walk around as well. So what I got her to do is something really simple, and we worked on her steps to bring them up, okay? So what I got her to do, first thing of all, is I wanted her to start moving around a bit. So what I got her to do is I set a timer every hour on the hour, and I just want you to walk around your house for 5 minutes. That's it. So that's what she did. She set a timer for every hour. As soon as that hour went off, she got up and she just walked around the house, and she just kept repeating the process all the way through the day, just to slowly start building up her steps. Now they slowly started to creep up, okay? We were going from 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000. We got to roughly about 5,000 and then what I said to her, right, Now I want you to get up every hour on the hour, and I want you to walk around the block. So that's what she did. She got up around her house and she just walked around the block. Or if it was raining, she just got on her treadmill and she just walked on that for like 10, 15 minutes every hour on the hour. What we did is we just worked on her step count, and now I got her all the way up to 10,000 steps, and then I just left her at 10,000 steps whilst I worked on everything else, all the other habits. I just thought, right, we've got the 10,000 in, now let's get the rest of the habits and see if we can just get them put into place first, then we can move on. And then she went from 10,000, then she went to 12,000 steps. And then before you knew it, she was going anything between 12 to 15,000 steps a day. So I'm going to put a picture up there of her whole scale weight. As you can see, we was at the top for a very, very long time. That was us working on nutrition and working on the steps and obviously the water targets and stuff like that. But it was a long, long time in that foundation stage just to get her from A to B while we built up that foundation, because I wanted to build up her habits. I needed her to have all her habits put in place, like mainly her output, which was her steps, and so we can slowly just build that in. So the next thing that we did is we worked on building up some lean muscle tissue, okay? Because every pound of this stuff that you have, which is a pound of fat, every pound that you have of this is only 2 calories, what you burn through the day, right? Every 1 pound of muscle you have on your body ramps it up to 6 calories. So every pound of this, you ramp this up and you can make your metabolism 3 times as fast. The only equipment Selena had was a simple resistant band. That's all she had at the beginning. So what I did is I set her up a nice, easy program 3 days a week. We were doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And what we were doing is we were just hitting a full body workout just with a resistant band. Must have been for about 6 to 8 weeks, because that's all she had access to. So that way we could slowly just build in not a lot of lean muscle tissue, but just enough just to get the metabolism just to start firing up. After 8 weeks, she had a resistant band, and then she went and got herself a couple of these kettlebells. And what I then did is I then changed her program, kept it for 3 days a week, 30 minutes, that's all she was doing, 3 days a week. And all we did is I added in resistant band and I added in some kettlebells to her workout. And roughly at about 16 weeks in, she was really getting into it because she trained at home a lot. So then she added in a dumbbell. She got herself a couple of dumbbells as well. So she then had a resistant band in her program. She had dumbbells in her program and she had kettlebells in her program. That way I could really, really mix things up for her. And by the time we got to week 16, we had everything in place. We had nutrition in place. We had our water goal put in place. We had our step goal put in place. We had our workouts put in place. She was feeling really, really comfortable. She then went from 3 days a week training to 4 days a week because she was really, really enjoying it. So then what she was doing is an upper lower split. So she was doing upper body on a Monday, lower body on a Tuesday, upper body on a Thursday, and then lower body again on a Friday. And she was just following that split because she enjoyed it so much. What we then did is we just mainly worked on compound lifts. That's it, okay? Just your compound lifts, because the compound is the bigger muscle group where you can build more lean muscle tissue. So if you work on your compound lifts, you can then build more muscle tissue really, really quickly. Okay, and then we had our steps, everything was in place, right? And then I'm gonna put another chart for you just up there. This was the last stretch where we then started, because everything was in place. As you can see, it all started to come down because everything all fell into place. And everything just laid on top of each other where we stacked it and we kept it. We then started working on it. And then I just started working her in zone 1 and zone 2. They were the only 2 zones that she was working in. Zone 1 was just simple walking. Zone 2, she was either doing on her exercise bike or she was doing on a treadmill, and she was just keeping her heart rate between 120 to 140, and she was keeping herself in the fat burning zone. Now I started her off for the first 2 to 3 weeks. She started with 15 minutes, just two days a week she started off with, just 15 minutes, which is basically level 1 for me. We then went from 2 sessions to 3 sessions, 3 sessions to 4 sessions, 4 sessions to 5 sessions, just at 15 minutes, right? We just ramped up her output that way, which then made her calorie deficit even bigger. I didn't even play with her calories around at this point. There was no point touching her calories because, as you can see, weight is starting to trickle down. Okay, all I did is I just ramped her output up, and then we went to level 2 on anything she wanted, on the bike, on the treadmill. So she was either doing level 2, zone 2, and she was doing it on the bike, or she was doing it on the treadmill, whichever one she was comfortable with. And then after a little while, she was going, I'm finding this 20 minutes really easy. What do I do? I said, right, come on then, let's ramp you straight up to level 3. So she did. We was then doing 30-minute sessions about 4 days a week. That was it. 30 minutes, 4 days a week, in that zone 2. Most of the time she would just put something on her Netflix and she'd get on her treadmill or on her bike and she'd just go for it while she was watching it and keeping her heart rate between 120 and 140. There was a couple of times where we did have a couple of plateaus. Now there was 3 ways that I could easily make her drop more of this stuff here, which was her body fat. But I didn't want to do the first option. There's 3 ways to do it, okay? There's basically, I can either bring her output up, which was not an option at this point because her output was already high. I could have brought her calories down. That's option 2. Option 3 is calories down, output up, okay? So what I went with is option 2. Now the reason I took her down to option 2 is because her output was already high. She was already smashing 4 days a week with the weights, right? She was already doing 15 to 16, 17,000 steps per day at this point. She was already hitting her zone 2s at 30 to 40 minutes, right? She was doing that 4 or 5 days a week as well. And I figured, you're already doing enough output. So what we're going to do is just bring your calories down ever so slightly. So all I did is I just brought them down 100. So we went from 2,200, 2,100, 2,000. The lowest we went to was 1,700. That was it. That was as low as we went, okay? And then, as you can see right now, she's gone from 130 kgs all the way down to 75 kgs. Okay, she has lost so much of this stuff here. She was dropping this stuff at a really, really quick rate. Once we got everything put into place, yes, it took her a little bit longer. But everybody's different. Some people can get it really, really quick. Some people can have it within a couple of weeks and they can have everything put in together in a couple of weeks and then they can start going for it. Some people might take a little bit longer, okay, because they've had no education through the paths, right? They've tried, like Selena, she tried everything coming, right? She was scared of eating certain foods. She was scared of drinking certain things. She was scared of everything. She was scared of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is your main fuel for your body. Do not be scared of carbohydrates, okay? And then make sure we've got enough fats for you as well to keep your hormones going, and obviously make sure you're on the right calorie target for you. Make sure you're in the right protein target for you as well. Soon as I started educating her, and it was a very slow progress, but as soon as I started educating her and it all started to come together, that's when the magic started happening for her. So, like I said, everybody's different. Some people will go faster, some people will go slower with it. But you're on your own fitness journey. You don't need to compare yourself to the lady next door or the client next door, because yes, they might be going a little bit faster than you, but it doesn't matter. You're on your own path, on your own journey, so don't compare yourself to anybody else. And that is how she got from A to B within that 18 to 19 months.